A lot of you may even have copyright on a lot of things that you do not even know about. A lot of things that you own copyright on and you have taken for granted all this while. But I'm sure after this video, you have a change of heart or to understand better your right. In terms of registration, what do you need to do to protect your copyright? Or how do you go about protecting your copyright? May I tell you that there is no requirement of registration for you to own copyright in your work. As long as you have expressed your work, copyright, you automatically own copyright in that work. You don't have to register it. Of course, there is also a provision for registration, and the essence of that is where there are disputes, I am claiming ownership of that work that I recorded my own first. Somebody else is claiming that he recorded it first, and all of there is dispute, and now we have to now prove who was first in time, who actually recorded first, and all. In this part, registration serves a lot of good to whoever has done it, to be able to prove, because that will be a way to prove, that's an obvious way to prove that, I recorded it and I registered it first. Of course, depending on the circumstance of the case, nowadays in this digital works where you can have the date of recording and all of that expressed and all, that will be a matter for the court to determine. But that helps you, if you have registered it with the Nigerian Copyright Commission, then you will be deemed ordinarily as the owner of that copyright, except the other person now proves otherwise. But at least, number one, you will have priority of ownership on that thing. In terms of authorship, the person who created the work, who is the author, is the owner of copyright. But that can extend to include his heirs, his successors, that if he dies, his successors can also claim authorship. They are also still covered under the copyright law as the author of that work. Now let's talk about duration of protection on this copyright. Each category of copyright works have different duration for protection. I earlier told you that it's protected automatically. However, for literary work, musical works, and artistic work, those three are protected for the life of the author and also 70 years after the author dies. This is what I mean. If you created literary work, musical work, and artistic work when you are 20 and you live up to 100, for instance, that means that copyright will subsist in that work till you are 100. That's like 80 years plus another 70 years after you are gone. That means that your children can inherit your authorship. They can inherit your copyright in that work and be able to enforce it for another 70 years. Now, after the expiration of 70 years, of course, it becomes a public property that anybody can now use. However, if that copyright in literary works, artistic work, or musical work was produced by a body corporate by a company, by an NGO, maybe government agency, and all of that, if it is created by a body corporate, it will be 70 years from the day the work was made. Of course, the reason is that you cannot determine life of that corporate body and all of that. So it is protected for 70 years from the day the work, or from the year in which the work was first made. For cinematograph, films, and photographs, and by that I mean video recordings and then photographs, it is protected for 50 years from the year in which the work was first made. Unlike musical work, literary work, and artistic work, if it is cinematograph, film, and photographs, it is 50 years from the year in which the work was first made. Sound recording, it's the same. Sound recording, 50 years from the year in which the sound was first recorded. Also for broadcast, 50 years from the year in which the broadcast was first made. All right. Now, let's talk about ownership of a work. Generally, the creator of a work has authorship of the work. The one who created the work has authorship of that work. And the only way in which this can be varied is by assignment. That is, I may employ you to take photograph for me. That work still belongs to you as a photographer, unless we have signed an agreement to assign the copyright in that work to me. I hope you are getting this gist now. If I do a work for you, because I am the one who did the work, I own the authorship in that work, except by agreement I assign the work to you. That work still belongs to me. That sounds kind of right. Well, that is why your lawyers are there to advise you, to be able to guide you when entering into certain contracts. Okay, so this is where we are going to pause for today. I'm very sure you have learned a lot. If there are still things you do not understand about it, don't panic. We are still going to dwell on this issue of copyright for a number of weeks. All right, there are ways in which you can use copyright without infringing upon it, the work of another person without infringing upon it. Well, stay tuned on this channel. We are going to teach you, we are going to give you the gist, we are going to tell you the secret of doing that. Before you leave, please ensure that you subscribe, ensure that you follow, drop a comment and give us a thumbs up if this has benefited you. Thank you.